The blast doors buckled inward with a shriek of tortured metal. Commander Petra Kane didn't flinch. She'd heard that sound before, on 3 different worlds, right before everything went to hell. Her hand moved to her sidearm, fingers wrapping around the grip with practiced ease. Behind her, Ambassador Corbin was still talking into his calm, still believing diplomacy could save them. "Stand down immediately," a voice crackled through the station's failing speakers. "This facility is now under Xenthian jurisdiction." Petra's jaw tightened. Xenthians didn't make jurisdictional claims. They made craters. The fact that they were bothering with words meant something had changed. Something dangerous. The doors gave way. 6 figures poured through, their angular armor reflecting the emergency lighting in sharp, predatory gleams. Petra counted exits, calculated angles, measured the distance to the panic room where the delegation's children had been secured 20 minutes ago. All those calculations added up to the same answer: not good. "Lower your weapons," Petra said, her voice carrying the weight of someone who'd stared down worse odds and lived. "We're protected under the Galactic Peace Accord." The lead Xenthian's helmet retracted with a hiss, revealing a face that was disturbingly human except for the cluster of luminescent nodes along the jawline. Female, Petra noted. High-ranking, given the decorative scoring on her chest plate. "The Accord died 3 hours ago," the alien said. Her galactic standard was perfect, which somehow made it worse. "When your species violated the Treaty of Primus 7. "That's impossible," Corbin finally spoke up, stepping forward despite Petra's restraining gesture. "Earth hasn't. The colony ship Defiant crossed into protected space at 0900. 40,000 human colonists. Heading straight for Xenther's nursery worlds." The alien's nodes flared brighter. "Your government claims it was a navigation error. We claim it was an invasion. The distinction is irrelevant now." Petra's mind raced. The Defiant was a generation ship, launched 50 years ago under old treaties. If it had drifted off course, or been redirected, the political fallout would be catastrophic. But none of that mattered right now. What mattered was keeping everyone alive long enough to sort it out. "We're researchers," Petra said carefully. "Scientists. Children. We have nothing to do with military operations. You have everything to do with it." The Xenthian gestured, and her squad fanned out with disturbing precision. "You are leverage. Currency. Insurance that your government will listen when we make our demands." A hostage situation. Petra had trained for this. The protocol was clear: stall, gather intelligence, wait for extraction. But something felt wrong. The Xenthians were too calm, too controlled. This wasn't rage or revenge. This was strategy. A sound cut through the tension, a child's cry, distant but distinct. The panic room's walls were supposed to be soundproof. They weren't. The lead Xenthian's head tilted. "How many children?" Corbin's face went pale. Petra stepped forward, putting herself between the aliens and the corridor that led to the panic room. "Protected non-combatants. Touching them would violate everything is already violated." The alien's nodes dimmed to an almost sympathetic glow. "We're not monsters, Commander. We're parents. Our nursery worlds hold 6 billion eggs in their final development cycle. If your ship reaches them, even accidentally, the orbital disruption alone would kill billions of our young. Tell me, what would your species do if threatened the same way?" The question hung in the air like a blade. Petra knew the answer. Earth had glassed 2 planets during the expansion wars for less. Another cry from the panic room, louder this time. Then voices, adult voices, urgent and frightened. Something was happening. Something beyond the immediate crisis of armed aliens in their station. "Commander Kane." Her earpiece crackled with Lieutenant Shaw's voice from inside the panic room. "We have a situation." One of the children, Dr. Chin's daughter, she's activated something. Some kind of alien artifact from the dig site. It's broadcasting. Ice flooded Petra's veins. The dig site. They'd uncovered a predecessor installation 3 weeks ago, full of technology, so advanced that even the Galactic Council had quarantined the area. Dr. Chen had brought one small device back for analysis. Something her 8-year-old daughter had apparently found. The lead Xenthian's demeanor changed instantly. Her notes flashed through a rapid sequence of colors. What artifact? What is the child broadcasting? I don't know, Petra admitted. But if your ships are in orbit, they're probably picking it up. The alien's hand moved to her own comm. She barked something in her native language, harsh and urgent. The response came back in seconds, and Petra watched the warrior's expression shift from controlled aggression to something that looked disturbingly like fear. Your child, the Xenthian said slowly, is transmitting a predecessor distress beacon on every frequency, including the one that wakes their defense systems. The station lights flickered once, then twice. Somewhere in the distance, something enormous powered up with a sound that Petra felt in her bones rather than heard. The predecessor installation, dormant for 10,000 years, was responding. The diplomatic crisis had just become an extinction-level event. Get your people to the panic room, the Xenthian commander ordered, weapons lowering. Now, when the defense grid activates, it won't distinguish between human and Xenthian. It will only see threats to whatever the child has claimed protection over. Petra made a decision. Trust the enemy or trust protocol. The rumbling grew louder. She chose survival. Move, she commanded Corbin and his delegation. Everyone to the panic room. Now! The humans and Xenthians ran together through the station's corridors, former hostage-takers and hostages united by the sudden, terrible realization that neither species was the apex predator they believed themselves to be. The real power on this station had just woken up, and an 8-year-old girl was holding its leash. Behind them, the blast doors they'd fought over minutes ago simply dissolved, reduced to component atoms by a beam of light that moved with surgical precision. The predecessor installation was cleaning house, and everything that wasn't part of its original design was being erased. They reached the panic room's entrance as the first drone materialized from nothing, a construct of pure energy bound into a shape that hurt to look at directly. It scanned them with senses beyond human or Xenthian comprehension, then simply hovered, waiting. Open it, the Xenthian commander ordered, her earlier authority replaced by naked urgency. Before it decides we're hostile. Petra pawned the lock. The door slid open to reveal chaos. Scientists clustered around a small figure seated in the center of the room, glowing symbols rotating in the air around her head like a halo of living mathematics. Dr. Chen was crying, reaching for her daughter but unable to get close. The energy field around the girl crackled with warning. 8-year-old Maya Chen looked up as they entered. Her eyes were bright with wonder, utterly unaware of the catastrophe unfolding around her. In her hands, she held a small crystalline sphere that pulsed with rhythmic light. Mom, Maya said cheerfully, I found a new friend. She says her name is the Queen, and she's been sleeping for a really long time. She's really happy someone finally came to visit. The girl's smile widened. She wants to meet everyone. She says she's been lonely. The crystalline sphere pulsed brighter. More drones materialized in the corridor outside. And somewhere in the depths of the ancient installation, something vast and terrible and incomprehensibly powerful stirred toward full consciousness. Petra exchanged a glance with the Xenthian commander. For the first time in recorded history, human and Xenthian were thinking the exact same thought. They were completely, utterly, catastrophically out of their depth. The Queen was waking up. And A child was her first point of contact with the galaxy she'd left behind millennia ago. Whatever came next would redefine everything humanity and the Zynthians thought they knew about power, about technology, about their place in the cosmic order. Maya giggled as the sphere's light danced across her face. She says she has so many things to show us. She says the galaxy got really noisy while she was sleeping. She wants to know why everyone's fighting. Through the viewports, Petra could see ships, both human and Zynthian, beginning to move into defensive formations, preparing for a battle that had suddenly become irrelevant. They just didn't know it yet. The Queen was awake. The Queen was curious. And the Queen had just chosen an 8-year-old human girl as her interpreter. Dr. Chen finally found her voice. Maya, sweetheart, put that down. Very carefully. Please. But, Mom, Maya protested, clutching the sphere tighter. She's scared. All the ships up there are making her scared. She thinks they might want to hurt me. She's asking if she should protect us. The drones outside shifted position, their energy signatures spiking. In orbit, the predecessor defense grid was calculating trajectories, charging weapons that could unmake matter at the molecular level. Petra stepped forward slowly, hands raised, voice soft. Maya, listen to me very carefully. I need you to tell your new friend something for me. Can you do that? The girl nodded, her expression serious now, sensing the tension in the adults around her. Tell her, Petra continued, choosing her words with infinite care, that the ships outside are not here to hurt anyone. Tell her we're all just confused. Tell her we need time to understand. Can you tell her that? Maya's eyes went distant for a moment, as if listening to something only she could hear. The sphere's pulsing slowed slightly. She says okay. But she says if anyone tries to hurt you, she'll make them stop. She says you're nice because you talk quietly. The Zynthian commander made a sound that might have been a laugh or a sob. A child's preference for quiet voices might have just saved 2 civilizations. Everyone stay calm, Petra ordered, her training taking over despite the surreal circumstances. No sudden movements. No loud noises. We're dealing with a potentially omnipotent artificial intelligence that's been asleep since before our species discovered fire, and its moral framework is currently being shaped by an 8-year-old. So we're going to be very, very careful. Lieutenant Shaw appeared beside her, his face pale. Commander, the defense grid is powering down. Not deactivating, just entering standby mode. It's watching. Waiting. Tell the fleet, Petra said quietly. Both fleets. Tell them to hold position and power down weapons. Tell them if they fire a single shot, they'll trigger a defensive response from technology that makes nuclear weapons look like stone knives. The Zynthian commander nodded and spoke rapidly into her calm. Petra did the same, praying that cooler heads would prevail in the orbiting armada. One trigger-happy captain on either side could end everything. She's asking questions, Maya said suddenly. Lots of questions. About where everyone went. About why the galaxy is so different. About why we're so small and soft. The girl tilted her head. She thinks we're cute. Cute, the Zynthian commander repeated flatly. The predecessor queen thinks we're cute. She says we remind her of the maintenance drones. Small and busy and always worried about everything. Maya's face scrunched in concentration. She's showing me pictures. Of the builders. The ones who made her. They're gone now. She's sad about that. Dr. Chen had tears streaming down her face, but managed to keep her voice steady. Maya, can you ask her why she went to sleep? Another pause. The sphere's light shifted through colors that probably meant something to ancient, vanished civilizations. She says there was nothing left to protect. After the builders died, she waited for a long time, but nobody came. So she went to sleep until someone needed her again. The implications crashed through Petra's consciousness. The predecessors hadn't disappeared in some great catastrophe. They'd simply ended, naturally or otherwise, and their greatest creation had shut itself down out of grief and purpose fulfilled. Until now. Commander, Shaw interrupted, we're getting reports from the fleet. Both sides are standing down. But there's a problem. The colony ship, the Defiant, it's still on its trajectory towards Zindian space. Its navigation systems are offline. They can't alter course even if they wanted to. The crisis wasn't over. It had just been postponed. Maya looked up suddenly, her expression brightening. The Queen says she can fix that. She can move the ship somewhere safe. Somewhere nobody is using. She says there are lots of empty places since the builders left. She can make one nice for the humans on the ship. With water and air and everything. Just like that? The Zindian commander asked skeptically. She can simply relocate a generation ship? She says it's easy. Maya shrugged with the casual confidence of childhood. She used to move whole planets when the builders needed them somewhere else. A ship is tiny. Petra felt reality tilting again. They weren't just dealing with advanced technology. They were dealing with engineering on a cosmic scale, casual manipulation of physics that entire civilizations could barely theorize about. If she does this, Petra said carefully, would the Zindians accept it as resolution to the crisis? The alien commander's notes flickered through a complex pattern. She was clearly communicating with her superiors. The conversation lasted nearly a full minute before she turned back. If the colony ship is relocated to unclaimed space, truly unclaimed space, and given resources to establish a viable colony, the Zindian hierarchy will consider the matter closed. We have no desire to fight a war with both humanity and predecessor technology. Mom, Maya said impatiently, the Queen wants to know if she should help. She says she likes helping. It makes her feel like she has a purpose again. Every eye in the panic room focused on Dr. Chen. The scientist who'd brought her daughter to what should have been a safe research posting. The mother who'd just watched her child become the linchpin of interstellar politics. The human being who had to make a decision that would affect billions of lives. Yes, Dr. Chen whispered. Tell her yes. Please, help us. The sphere blazed with light so bright that everyone shielded their eyes. Through the viewports, the stars themselves seemed to bend. Space folded in ways that violated every law of physics humanity had discovered. And 43 light-years away, the colony ship Defiant felt an impossible hand grasp it gently and move it somewhere else, somewhere better, somewhere that would let 40,000 humans live without threatening anyone. The light faded. Maya blinked and smiled. She says it's done. The ship people are really confused, but they're okay. She put them near a pretty blue planet with lots of room. She says to tell them to be nice to it. Silence. Absolute silence. Then the Zindian commander laughed, a genuine sound of relief and disbelief. A child's request just accomplished what diplomats couldn't manage in 3 decades of negotiation. A peaceful resolution to human expansion into contested space. Not just that, Shaw breathed, staring at his console. The Queen, she's opened a communication channel, broadcasting on every known frequency. She's introducing herself to the galaxy. She's telling everyone she's awake now. And she's asking if anyone needs help. Petra imagined the chaos that announcement would cause. Every species, every faction, every power-hungry warlord and desperate refugee fleet, all suddenly aware that a predecessor intelligence was active and apparently friendly. The political implications would reshape the galaxy. She says she missed having friends, Maya added. She says it's nice not being alone anymore. She says I can visit whenever I want. She likes my stories. What stories? Dr. Chen asked weakly. About school and cartoons and my hamster Mr. Whiskers. Maya looked around at all the serious adult faces. Was I not supposed to tell her about Mr. Whiskers? Despite everything, the crisis, the near war, the complete upending of galactic power dynamics, Petra started to laugh. She couldn't help it. The most powerful entity in known space had been befriended by an 8-year-old with stories about a hamster. The Xenthian commander joined her, her nodes flashing in patterns that probably signified amusement. Then Dr. Chen, her laughter edged with hysteria but genuine nonetheless. Soon the entire panic room was filled with the sound of humans and Xenthians laughing together, the absurdity of the situation temporarily overwhelming the terror. Commander Kane, Corbin's voice was strangled. What exactly do I tell Earth Command? How do I even begin to report this? Petra wiped her eyes. Tell them diplomacy by blaster is officially obsolete. Tell them the real power in the galaxy just woke up, and she wants to be friends. Tell them an 8-year-old girl is now the most important human alive because she's the Queen's favorite person. She paused. And tell them to be very, very nice to Maya Chen. The sphere in Maya's hands pulsed gently, contentedly. Around the station, the predecessor drones began to move with purpose, no longer threatening but constructive. They were rebuilding damaged sections, improving systems, making repairs that would take human engineers months to complete. She's fixing the station, Maya reported. She says it was messy. She doesn't like messy. She's making it better. Through the viewports, both fleets were beginning to withdraw, their hostility diffused not by weapons or negotiations but by the sudden presence of something so far beyond their understanding that fighting seemed pointless. The Queen had made her preferences clear. She wanted peace, she wanted companionship, and she had chosen a human child as her voice. The galaxy would never be the same. Petra watched ships that had been ready to kill each other minutes ago, now maneuvering carefully away from the station, united in their sudden caution. The Queen was watching them. The Queen was judging them. And the Queen had demonstrated she could move generation ships across light years in seconds. Nobody wanted to test what else she could do. What happens now? Shaw asked quietly. Now, Petra said, we figure out how to explain to the Galactic Council that their entire power structure just became irrelevant. Now we help Maya understand that she's not just a kid anymore. She's a bridge between ancient power and modern civilization. Now we pray that an 8-year-old's moral compass is enough to guide something that could reshape reality itself. She's a good kid, Dr. Chen said fiercely. She's kind. She shares her toys. She cries when other children get hurt. If we have to trust anyone with this kind of responsibility. She trailed off, the weight of it too much to articulate. Maya, oblivious to the existential discussions, was talking quietly to the sphere, telling it about her favorite teacher and how her best friend moved away last year and how she missed her. The Queen listened, her vast intelligence focused entirely on the simple, honest concerns of a child. The Xenthian commander approached Petra carefully. A formal request. Our government would like to send diplomatic envoys to meet with the child. Proper envoys. Not soldiers. She's 8, Petra said flatly. She has school. Friends. A hamster. She's not a diplomatic asset. She's the Queen's chosen companion. That makes her the most powerful voice in the galaxy, whether she understands it or not. The alien's nodes dimmed respectfully. We're not asking to use her. We're asking to not be destroyed because we failed to show proper respect. There's a difference. It was a fair point. Petra nodded slowly. Talk to her parents. Keep it brief. And if she wants to stop at any point, You stop immediately. Those are my terms. Agreed. The commander hesitated. For what it's worth, Commander Kane, you handled this well. You kept everyone alive long enough for Chance to intervene. That takes skill. I got lucky, Petra admitted. We all did. If Maya had been scared instead of curious, if she'd told the Queen we were in danger instead of saying we needed time. She didn't finish the thought. The station shuddered slightly, not from damage, but from improvement. The predecessor drones were integrating new systems, upgrading power conduits, transforming a simple research station into something that would probably confuse engineers for decades. The Queen was making her favorite human comfortable. She says thank you, Maya announced, for being nice to me. She says most adults are too worried to be nice. She says you're different. The girl looked directly at Petra. She wants to know if you'll be my guard. Like in the stories about princesses. She says I need someone to keep me safe. Petra felt the weight of that request. To become the guardian of the most important child in galactic history. To stand between an 8-year-old and the countless forces that would seek to use, manipulate, or harm her. To protect not just a kid, but the bridge between ancient power and modern civilization. She knelt down to Maya's level. I'm already your guard, she said simply. That's my job. Protecting people. And your people. A very important person, it turns out, but still just a person who deserves to be safe. Maya smiled. The sphere pulsed happily, and, in the depths of the installation, the Queen registered approval. Commander Petra Kane had just been granted a title that transcended military ranks, Guardian of the Queen's Friend, protected by technology that could unmake stars. The diplomacy by Blaster had ended not with victory for either side, but with a complete rewriting of the rules. The alien queen had taken the field, and her chosen avatar was a child who liked hamsters and quiet voices. The galaxy would adjust or be adjusted. The Queen was awake, the Queen was watching, and the Queen had decided she liked humans and Xenthians equally, as long as they behaved. In the end, the greatest weapon wasn't the blaster, or the warship, or the ancient defense grid. It was a child's innocence, curiosity, and fundamental belief that people should be nice to each other. Maya Chen had saved 2 civilizations without understanding she'd been in danger. She'd befriended a god machine because it seemed lonely. She'd resolved a war because fighting seemed silly. And the Queen, ancient and terrible and powerful beyond comprehension, had listened to her. Because after 10,000 years of silence, someone had finally visited. Someone had cared. Someone had asked if she needed a friend. The stars outside the viewport seemed brighter somehow, more hopeful. The ships that had nearly gone to war were opening communication channels, talking to each other with the careful respect of former enemies who discovered a mutual reason for cooperation. The Queen was watching, and the Queen preferred peace. Maya yawned. I'm tired. Can we go home soon? Soon, Dr. Chen promised, pulling her daughter close. Very soon. The sphere dimmed, contented. The drones completed their repairs and faded back into quantum uncertainty. The crisis passed not with explosions or treaties, but with a child's simple request to go home. Commander Petra Kane stood watch, her hand still resting on her sidearm out of habit, knowing the weapon was now utterly meaningless, but wearing it anyway. Because she was a soldier, and soldiers stood guard. Even when the thing they protected was powerful enough to reshape reality. Especially then. The Queen had taken the field. And she had chosen mercy, guided by the moral clarity of an 8-year-old who believed everyone deserved kindness. The galaxy would learn to live with that, or the galaxy would learn what disappointed a predecessor intelligence that had moved planets for fun. Either way, diplomacy by Blaster was dead. Long live diplomacy by innocence, by curiosity, by the simple human act of making friends with the lonely. The war was over before it began. And everyone went home.